Fresh releases explained fast. ItSlang. PostgreSQL 18 is a milestone release. Not just a performance upgrade, but a real modernization of the database. New UUID formats, async I/O, temporal constraints explain insights, native OAuth authentication, parallel index builds, virtual columns, proper Unicode handling, and return of old and new values. Traditional UUIDs are random, great for uniqueness, terrible for indexing. They destroy locality, force your B tree to fragment, and slow down inserts. PostgreSQL 18 brings UUID version 7, a time-based, sortable UUID format. Indexes love it. Inserts become more sequential. You keep uniqueness, but gain performance. Time-ordered UUIDs. Simple, efficient, brilliant. PostgreSQL 18 can finally do asynchronous I/O. It reads faster, without waiting. Before, Postgres waited for the OS to return every read one by one, like this. And that is slow. Now, with async I/O, powered by Linux I/O Uring, Postgres can queue multiple reads in parallel like this. Result? Up to 3 times faster sequential scans and smoother auto-vacuum performance. No config change needed. Just upgrade to version 18 and enjoy the speed. Time-based logic used to be one of the trickiest areas in PostgreSQL. Preventing overlapping time ranges required an exclude using gist constraint with range operators. Powerful but cryptic. Here's how it looked before PostgreSQL 18 finally introduces standard SQL temporal constraint. That one phrase without overlaps replaces all gist machinery. Even better, Postgres now understands temporal referential integrity. Related time ranges can now stay synchronized automatically. No triggers, no custom functions, just clean SQL. Postgres 18 makes explain even more powerful. Before PostgreSQL 18, explain showed buffer statistics, hits, reads, dirty pages, but could not tell you how long those I/O operations took. PostgreSQL 18 adds full I/O timing visibility. Now you can see real disk I/O timings. Read time. How long reads waited on disk. Write time. How long flushes took. Prefetch, async, read ahead, timing. Now you can diagnose if your query is CPU bound, cached, or truly hitting disk. Your query profiler just got deeper. adding a not null constraint used to lock your entire table. Before 18, you had to fake it with a check constraint, manual validation, and converting to not null. Now it's native. You can add not null as not valid, then validate it online. Zero downtime, fewer steps, cleaner intent. A long requested feature finally built in. Big GIN indexes used to take ages because they ran on a single CPU thread. PostgreSQL 18 now builds GIN indexes in parallel. Using multiple workers. For JSON-B or text-heavy workloads, that's 2 to 3 times faster index creation. Note, it only works with default JSON-B ops for now, not JSON-B path ops. Parallel power for your text searches.
Postgres 18 now supports native OAuth 2.0. No passwords, just access tokens from Google, GitHub, or Azure. That means centralized identity, short-lived credentials, and fewer secrets lying around in config files. Let's see how it works, step by step. First, update your pghba.conf file to tell Postgres to accept OAuth tokens, adding a line like this. Here's what each part means. The first parameter tells Postgres what kind of connection this rule applies to. Host means network connections over TCP/IP, not local sockets. You could also use local for Unix socket connections or host SSL to force SSL encryption. The second parameter is the name of the database where the rule applies. You can use a specific name like MDB or the keyword all to match every database. The third parameter defines which Postgres roles can use this rule. All means any user, but in production, you'll usually restrict this to specific roles. Next is the client address or IP range. All accepts connections from any host. Fine for demos, but in real deployments, you'd use a real IP to limit it to your private network. Finally, we specify which OAuth provider to trust, in this case, Google. You could also use provider equals GitHub, provider equals Azure, or configure your own with a custom issuer URL. So, in plain terms, any user connecting over the network to the database MyDB can authenticate using a valid Google OAuth 2.0 access token instead of a traditional database password. You still define roles and grants inside Postgres as usual. OAuth replaces the password, not your permission model. Postgres verifies the token's signature, issuer, audience, and expiry. If everything checks out and the role exists, you're in. Modern, secure, password-free logins right inside Postgres 18.
PostgreSQL finally gets virtual generated columns. Before, generated columns were stored, values written to disk. Now you can compute them on the fly, not store them anywhere. Less storage, lighter tables, smarter schemas. Fully usable in select where and expressions, perfect for derived attributes. PostgreSQL Unicode handling has finally become modern and correct in version 18. Before, case-sensitive comparison were unreliable. The lower function couldn't handle tricky characters like the famous Turkish eye problem. The lower function doesn't know that I with a dot and I are the same letter in Turkish. But PostgreSQL 18 introduces red Unicode case folding with the case4 function. It normalizes characters using actual Unicode rules. Postgres 18 also ships a new high-performance Unicode collation PG_Unicode_fast. It gives you correct language-aware ordering, and it's much faster than ICU. And for the first time, PostgreSQL also lets you use like and I-like functions with non-deterministic collations. Older versions simply refuse to run these queries. One tip, if your app uses full-text search or trigram indexes, rebuild them after upgrading. Collation changes can affect ordering. Better text, faster function, smarter Unicode. PostgreSQL 18 just upgraded one of the most useful features, returning. Before, returning could show only one thing, the new values after an insert or update. No way to see what the row looked like before the change. Now, Postgres 18 adds something big. You can reference old and new directly inside returning. Perfect for audit logs, history tables, debugging, or tracking changes without triggers, temp tables, or extra selects. And it's not just update, it works with insert, update, delete, and merge. Postgres does the diff for you. Clean, powerful, and zero extra queries. That's Postgres 18, one of the most feature-packed upgrades in years.